Hey, and welcome everybody to another glorious episode of the Put on Raiders podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas, along with Ryan Holmes, and we are podcasting all the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. Beautiful day out here in Southern California. Hopefully, if it got the winds popping out here now, so hopefully you got power. I know. This is some of us were not lucky enough to have power during that Thanksgiving, but we got to fight on. The Raiders, 36-33 victors at AT&T at the stadium. I think we've been. This is I walked by one of my friends the other day, and he just walked by me and said, "I didn't realize Carr was this good." And I was just like, "Well, he can be, like I mean, when he wants to be." There's plays in there that he still left on the shelf, Ryan. But I think for me, what I liked about it was no huge losses and kind of push the ball down the field like we've been begging him to do. If it's man to man, you're open in this league. The way they have a for every Diggs, there's a Brown on these teams in the National Football League. So you have to press the ball down the field. That you get points in the passing game. That's what they used to say on NFL matchup back in the day on ESPN. But points are in the passing game, and the Raiders found points in the passing game this week.
Oh, definitely. And this is kind of the frustration we've had as Raiders fans. Is Derek Carr has these stretches where he looks like an MVP for a month, and then he disappears for 3 or 4 games, and now he came back with one of those performances we've been waiting for. It's just consistency. It's doing it week in and week out, and I'll give him credit. He played really well this week, and when Derek Carr plays well, we'll talk about it, and when he doesn't, we'll talk about it. But I thought this week he played well. He hung in the pocket. He stepped up a couple of times, but when it was surprising how much single high the Cowboys seemed to be playing, and he let it fly. And we talked about it last week. Single high, let it fly. He threw it down the field. They got some pass interferences. They didn't always complete them, but they got big plays by taking risks down the field. And Deshaun Jackson clearly made a difference with 40. I think he played 42 snaps this week. And they went to him early on that deep over where he beat man coverage. And they actually had the safety right in the middle of the field, and he still ran away from him too. So he could still run. That was evidence. And it's interesting as I start to look through this game, I've made it through the first quarter now. He was in a lot of packages, and they had Bryan Edwards off the field on some of these. So it was a lot of times it was, maybe it was Waller, Renfro, Jackson, and Moreau, like 2 tight ends with Renfro and Jackson is kind of the deep guy. But no, it was a good win to go on the road. When you go on the road on a short week, I don't care who you play, and you get a W, and then you go on the road in a hostile environment, 93,000 fans at Jerry's World, and for them to pull out a win, it says a lot about the character in that locker room. They could have easily folded up the tents at this point, but they're still fighting. They're 6-5. They have a chance. I glanced at the standings this morning, like, all right, let me see where they're at, and they were still 11th in the AFC at 6-5. But let's let this weekend play out. There's a lot of teams playing each other that could get hurt themselves, but they're going to have to go on a run right here. They can't be trading it, 2 losses for 1 win. They're going to have to stack some wins together starting now.
They put themselves in a position where basically they really could only afford maybe just 1 loss the rest of the season. If they had to split the Bears and the Bengals or the Giants or the Giants game, especially, like, those games would have been huge. I mean, the Bengals would have been nice because it's an AFC opponent. So you're looking for that. But for the most part, they really can't afford. I mean, I know Coin says it's going to be 2 losses rest of the season, but I think that's going to be. I think if they really want to get to the playoffs to for sure make it, I think they probably only have to have 1 loss. And I mean, they have a lot of quality AFC opponents coming in this week, and I'm interested to see some of these AFC games too. You have the Buccaneers going at the Colts. Games like that. So some really games that can really either help or hurt the Raiders as far as that one goes. Balance between the run and pass. The Raiders threw the ball 39 times and ran it 35 times. I think one of the biggest things I liked about Carr's performance was obviously the deep ball down the field. We love to see that. Like we Raider fans and Al Davis, we invented the forward long pass down the field, right? As far as that goes. But for me, it was those plays where he didn't have it, where he just maybe threw the ball at somebody's feet just to keep the line of scrimmage, save the line of scrimmage, so you're not going for a big loss, getting third and manageable. They threw the ball down the field to get people involved, and you didn't want to see Waller go down, but Waller does go down. But that just meant Zay Jones got some receptions. And what I like about Zay Jones is he just catches it and goes. Like he doesn't have to play games. He just gets that. He just puts his head down and gets the first down. It's too bad that catch on the sideline didn't count for nothing because the body control on that catch was absolutely incredible. But he was able to get the things going. Hunter Renfrow had a big game, and Deshaun Jackson as well. They spread the ball around. I wish we could have had that play with Josh Jacobs back because that would have been a highlight film for real as far as that goes. But thoughts about just spreading that around and getting everybody involved. Good job by Derek and Greg Olsen and everybody like that.
Definitely, they got the ball to everybody. Edwards had a catch on a third down for first down. You saw Waller, Jackson got loose. Some nice throws to Josh Jacobs. Jacobs dropped what might have been a 75-yard touchdown. It looked like a play from Alabama's playbook. So they got him involved. Got Renfrow really involved with 8 for, I think, 134 was a career high for him. He got loose down the middle there. But, no, it was a good job by Derek reading the defense and getting the ball to the playmakers. I was surprised how much man coverage the Cowboys played against this Raiders team. It really surprised me, and Derek Carr took advantage of that. There's still some stuff in the game. The clock management, the game management by Rich Bisaccia leaves a lot to be desired at this point, which is a question we've had about him on this podcast. And then, some of those short yardage, 3rd and 1 shotgun run, just scrap that, throw that out of the playbook. Like they were calling it out and Tony Romo called out the play before it happened. The defenders know what's coming in that situation. But overall, it was a good team win. They had control that game most of the game. The offense had several opportunities to end it. When it was 17-6, they get the ball at midfield. They can't get a first down. If they go in there before the half, it's 24-6 instead of 17-13. They get the ball in the fourth quarter. They had a chance. Unfortunately, the referees called a false start on Andre James, which was clearly an offside. It should have been 1st and 10. For me personally, I don't even know why they tried that. They could have just let it go to the 2-minute warning. And come out on 2nd and 1. I understand the thought process behind getting up there, drawing the other team off sides. When you have Leatherwood and Parker on your line that have a penchant for jumping off sides, the risk versus the reward for me is not good enough. They should have just let it go to the 2-minute warning. Got up there, got the first down, and then they could have bled it down and kicked a field goal, and the game would have been over at that point. There was no need for overtime. But they found a way. The defense stepped up on overtime, forced 3 and out in the punt. So, and then give Derek credit. They had to go quite a ways for that field goal because they ended up getting the ball around the 25-yard line, even though Dallas is punting out of their end zone. But overall, they made enough plays. We'll put it that way. There's a lot of stuff that left on the field offensively. There's a lot of stuff the defense probably wants back in this game. Clearly, the special teams, kick coverage, giving up a touchdown. But they made more plays than Dallas at the end of the day, and they got some calls that went their way finally. And, again, like I said, if you go on the road on a Thursday on a short week, it doesn't matter who you're playing, but you kind of set it up perfectly. I think there's a chance at 10-7 they can get in, but it's going to come down to they can't lose to the Browns. They can't lose to the Colts. These teams that are right there with them, they need AFC wins, but then we also have to spin it around and say they need AFC West wins because they can't finish in 3rd in the AFC West. They got to pass the Chargers and the Chiefs at some point. So if you start looking at those games, like these are all huge games. They need to go into Kansas. If they want to win the division, they have to go into Kansas City and win. If they want to make the playoffs, they have to go into Cleveland and win. They have to go to the Colts and win. They got to beat the Chargers at the end of the year. So you start looking around where those 2 losses are going to come from. Like, they're not going to win out, but clearly every one of these games means something. And one of these, you lose to one of these teams, that may be the deciding factor. So they got a home game coming up. They need to win these home games. They've lost too many home games at this point, but you have the Washington football team coming in. You have 10 days rest. It sounds like Waller has a chance to play. It wasn't a serious injury. They're saying it was an IT band strain. I've had that myself. It comes and goes. It's something you can deal with. I think he can play 10 days from now from that injury, but they do. The good thing is they got out of there with a win. They have 10 days to rest, and there's plenty of stuff on that tape where they can clean it up.
Yeah, no question about it. I'm excited about that. About this win. Got a couple questions talking about, hey, are we back, or did you believe? And I was like, I'll believe when it's the last game of the year. and they post the playoff schedule, and the Raiders are on.
Exactly.
That's when
That's it. Yeah.
That's it. That's the only way I can do it. I thought defensively, I didn't realize going to the game. I'm not sure if you did either, how much Zeke Elliott was hurt in this ball game. He was really banged up. Like there was nothing. This was the worst physical part of Zeke Elliott I've seen before ever. And are the two better backup players than Pollard and Gallup in the league? Like both of those guys are really fantastic. Backup running backs, backup wide receivers. I saw that during the broadcast they showed that Pollard had the most yards from scrimmage for any running back, or second who didn't have a start. So basically he's just all over the place. That kicking short on a score, this podcast has been on that for a long period of time. I think maybe it helped him in the overtime, and he stuck to his gun. So we're gonna still see it because he likes doing it. So he's definitely gonna keep doing it. But that Pollard play could have really cost the Raiders a huge, because they were dominating that game. I mean, that game, you could see the eyes in the stadium when they pan over to the Cowboy fans. Like, I mean, they were done, and that really was a big, a little shot through the Cowboys here to get things going for them. So that could have cost them. On the time management thing, I know I was gonna try to go all positive the whole time today because they won, but I'm just gonna say this. So, and I'll say it from my Madden days to my watching football game. You kick the ball off to try to get the ball at the end of the half and score, and then get the ball again at the beginning of the third quarter. Saving those timeouts does nothing for you. Like, it does nothing for you. It's the second game in a row where they save timeouts going into the half. I know the Raiders have an analytic crew. You gotta, I know, old school, whatever. Listen, dude, like, Pasacci, just like get with the times, cousin. Like, you know what I'm saying? Take off the Skechers, put some Nikes on. Like, I don't know, but like, let's be smart about this whole situation. Let's not be stubborn. The other guy was stubborn, and we know about him. But at the end of the half, when the Cowboys were driving to make it 17-13, call timeouts. So you have like 90 seconds, maybe a minute. Dirk doesn't need that much time to get down the field, especially with the pass interferences. Maybe you get a field goal there and they get a touchdown at the beginning of next quarter. And then you're going home. They're going home free, and you're just handing the ball off to Drake and Jacobs at the end of the game, Ryan.
Man, they took the 10-second runoff. The Cowboys had first and goal at the half-yard line.
What the heck are they doing? How do you do
that? They took a 10-second runoff when they scored on the next play. Like, you want as much time as you can there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That was more surprising to me, was that they said, okay, yeah, 10-second runoff, we're cool with that. Like, you had 2 timeouts in your back pocket. I don't know that, but yeah, it's the one thing coming out of this game is this team needs Trayvon Mullen. Brandon Faison was good while he was out there, but teams are targeting a lot. And then they're basically lining up and saying, where's 52, where's 24, where's 35? Okay, now we know what we're going to throw. Yeah. And again, like I said, I'm about a quarter through this game on the all-22. The Raiders are basically playing cover 3 and then, a little bit of man coverage on third down. They didn't mix it up in the first quarter. So it surprises me at this point in the season that they're not really mixing it up against some of these better quarterbacks. And we saw Dak Prescott. They kind of figured it out in the second half and started moving the ball pretty easily, especially when they went to the hurry up. So those are something that the Raiders are going to have to pay attention to. I did notice, I think it was the game plan defensively, as you saw both defensive ends, especially Max Crosby, spent a lot of time rushing right down the middle of the right tackle. Like, they were trying to keep Prescott in the pocket and not letting him get out to his right, because you didn't see Max really let it loose to try to get around the edge very often. So I think that was game plan designed. And that was kind of my question. I'm like, Max Crosby didn't show up much on the broadcast view, but now I kind of understand. I really think they were trying to keep Prescott from getting out of the pocket and running to his right.
Couldn't you blitz? Couldn't you, if you were going to blitz and send 5, and instead of the standard 4 that the Raiders always do, can't you blitz from? I see people blitz to the strong side, so you can keep him in the pocket that way, and then just make sure Yannick on the other side just kind of keeps his rush lane so he doesn't get out the other way.
You could theoretically, but they don't blitz much. We'll see as I go through the tape here over the next day or so how many blitzes they actually did send. I don't remember very many from watching the game, but I do think the offensive line in a pass protection situation, I thought they held up pretty well. Micah Parsons is a bad man, dude. That dude He can run. He can get off the line of scrimmage. I know he beat Parker inside early on a quick and kind of caught him off guard. But Parker did a good job as the game went on, using his length to force him to take the wide angle around and
Yep.
allowed Carr to step up. I thought Brandon Parker, he did give up a sack in the either overtime or fourth quarter. I think it was overtime, right before the pass to Jones that got the pass interference. But I mean, you can't ask for much more from a right tackle against Micah Parsons. That dude's got 9 or 10 sacks this year. So I thought he played okay. I thought so far, I think John Simpson had a pretty strong game, at least through the first quarter. So we'll see what it looks like. But I think the offensive line more than held their own in this game.
And the one thing that listen, I didn't pick. I wasn't Adam Rank from NFL.com. I didn't pick the Raiders to win this game or Howie Long.
He was the only one.
He's the only one. Howie Long was the only one too, right? But I do think there is a maturity thing about the Cowboys that they as talented as they are, and they were hurt in this game, no question about it. But they're still not, with all the penalties. They're one of the most penalized team in the league, just like the Raiders, all those things like that. So we know that. But I think the maturity of that is the only reason why that gave me a little bit of hope that they wouldn't be able to that the Raiders would be able to hang with them as far as that goes, because with pure talent they are one of the most talented teams in the National Football League, no question about it. And Parsons is, forget about linebacker. Just keep. He looked like Khalil Mack year 2. Rushing the passer. It was just a hard guy to handle.
Except he runs a 4.3.
I know, Jesus, he's so good. It's crazy. It's crazy how fast that dude is. He's crazy. He's a great athlete. No question about it. We talked about on the flip side of some things. We talked about Will McClay and maybe a combination of Kellen Moore. Did you like the play calling from Kellen Moore in this game on the other side of it? Because I thought, especially when the 2-point conversion, I thought it was a little too cute. With the play where they had where they flipped it to the running, they went from Ezekiel Elliott, the option play there. Like, because let's be, if the Raiders handled the business with time management, they could have been down big in this game. He is down some weapons. But how did you feel about that side of it? Because like I said, we got to think about a little bit of the possibility of Bisaccia not being back.
No, I thought the Dallas Cowboys offensive game plan was pretty good in this game. They ran the ball okay. They had some stuff designed up against some cover 3 looks that they were able to move the ball. And let's be honest, they were playing with a banged up Zeke Elliott, no Cooper, no Lamb, and they scored 27 if you take the special teams kick away against the Raiders aren't a dominant D, but they're a league average D. They're about in the middle of the league in every category. And they had a good game plan, obviously, to slow down Max Crosby enough to where he wasn't that big of a factor in this game. So I had no problem with the Cowboys offensive game plan. I thought it was, good that they could move the ball, and they targeted the right guys. They targeted Faison. And then late, I was kind of disappointed that the Casey Hayward got beat over the top a couple times there at the end of the half.
That bothered me.
And late in the fourth quarter, like, you can't let that happen. But overall, like I said, everything that was on the line in this game, you got to be ecstatic to wake up today as a Raider fan and get that W. Just win, baby, as Al Davis said. It doesn't matter how you do it. I don't care if the game was 6-3 or 36-33.
Take it. And then last of all, what was nice in this game was, hey, listen, they have a weak spot. How many times have we seen, teams just destroy a DJ Hayden, destroy one of our corners, right? Like who couldn't play and play after play after play, go after him. It was nice to see them look for number 30 and say, oh, he's over there. Well, we're going to make sure we target him. They're not helping. He's still by himself. And they're going to keep attacking him and going after him and getting PIs, getting completions against them. It just made all the sense in the world. And I like to see that team do that. And how about Cleveland Farrell? That was a pretty crazy special teams tackle. I thought that was pretty for him. I got to give him credit for that as well, especially like somebody who is first round pick demoted to where he is now and be able to do that. If there's one positive, the best positive thing before we wrap up, the most the shining star of this game for you, maybe player or play in this game that you were kind of went back and said, I felt good that they did this in this ball game.
I'm going to take the easy way out here. Daniel Carlson was 5 for 5 on field goals. Like he's always missed that one field goal or that one extra point we didn't talk about. He showed up, especially after battling food poisoning earlier in the week. And then having to kick that last kick like 4 times because there was a false start, 2 offside. So I'm just going to say, you know, I'll go Daniel Carlson and AJ Cole. I thought AJ Cole punted really well in this game. He's got a hell of a leg. So let's give it to those two guys.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. It's funny because like there's a thing in Madden where like if you keep jumping off sides in that moment, they'll just like stop the game and give the other person the victory because they call it like egregious whatever being stupid. But it's kind of funny how they do that. So you had no problem with them leaving the offense off the field once it was a first down? Would you have brought the offense on the field?
I would have at least centered it. You know, I thought they were going to at least try to get the ball in the middle of the field and off the hash, but
he might like it.
So I'm not going to complain. He made it.
Yeah, he might like it there as well. For me, I'm gonna go to Deshaun Jackson because they definitely desperately needed that deep threat. And it sounds like, and I can't wait to see the all 22. It sounds like he was open and he played a lot of snaps as well too, which was great. And then Zay Jones. Zay Jones is they're you know, maybe he doesn't get those targets if Darren Waller's playing, but he got him and he was able to, you know, really, I mean, just kind of, you know, just do his thing, like, you know, just, you know, catch it and go. That's why I like Zay Jones. He's a really good athlete. He may not be like an out and out burner down the field, but we caught a lot of passes in college and definitely is capable of doing that in the National Football League as well. So, all right. Raiders win 36-33. We'll hit you on the big show where we preview Jack Del Rio's return. Let's go. Del Rio, my least favorite coaches in Raider history, come back and you know, battle the silver and black as the Washington football team. Where if they do win this week, they're going to be fighting for a playoff spot, no question about it. Like they win this week. The Cowboys have lost. They'll be 5-6 going into that game with the Raiders. So they will have an opportunity to maybe to win if they beat the Raiders to have a chance to maybe win the division and challenge the Cowboys. Cool. Anything else you got going on?
No, just that. Like I said, I can't wait to get back to the tape, and when we get back to the regular show on Wednesday, or when we do it this week, hopefully, and we just, you know, what else pops off the screen, because I'm excited to see. I really want to see John Simpson against Tristan Hill after that little brawl after the game to find out what really happened.
You don't really bother me. And this is the reason why I don't watch SportsCenter anymore. Like, I just happen to have it on the background, and I'm like, oh, the Raider highlights are on. Let me watch it again. You realize the first? I'm gonna have you guess what's the first thing they showed in that Raider game, on the Raider Cowboy game highlight, which was the highest rated football game in regular season football game in 30 years. In 30 years. What do you think the first thing they show? The thing they showed is ESPN. So remember that. Remember that.
Are they going to go with the pass interference at the end of the game?
The fight.
Yeah, I don't know.
The fight between with Teamer and the other guy.
Oh,
I was like, that's what they showed first. They showed that first. So it was horrible. They showed that first.
That took me back to that training camp against the Rams. Teamer did the same thing against the Rams. They had to stop practice. Yeah, they canceled the practice in the middle of it.
Is he not able to, on those passing downs, maybe come in for Abram? Like, it's just like really, like, it's obvious. Like, I mean, he's clueless. I mean, you saw Littleton, who was a mild-mannered dude, just light him up on that touchdown. That got called back. That was crazy. Well, we'll look at that as well. But I'm interested to see what happens as far as that goes. Because I mean, he and then you got Levitt. So I'm getting negative again. Levitt missing that INT. I guess be positive. The Raiders won. The Raiders won. All right, Ryan. You have a good night, man. See you next week.
Take care.
Yeah.